Let's hear now from our race-winning team in the first race of the 2014 chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. And now advancing to the contender round of 12 is Brad Keselowski. And he drives the number 2 Miller Lite Ford for Team Penske. He's joined by his crew chief Paul Wolfe and his car owner Roger Penske. This is Brad's 5th win in 2014. That ties his career best. His 15th win in his career. His 2nd win is Chicagoland Speedway. And Brad, congratulations. Put on an excellent race here today. Talk about how things finished up. You certainly had to overcome some adversity. And then that pass that you made, I think, on about lap 252 was one that I'm sure will make many highlights. So just talk about how things have played out for you today. And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I guess you couldn't ask for a better way to start the chase, maybe other than starting up front. But just phenomenal with the way that things played out. I don't know if we were the fastest car. There were some runs where I thought we were really fast, and then some runs where I thought the 4 and the 42 were really fast. It was so hard to tell. You know, whoever had the cleanest there was really it was such an advantage. But you know, towards the middle part of the race, obviously we lost the track position. You know, that was something that we all thought was awful at the time, but I guess it worked out. And then from there, we just fought and just climbed and clawed and got up to I think it was 8th, Paul. I don't know where it was, and Paul made the call or decision to pit a little bit late, and it worked out perfectly. We were able to be on pit road right as the yellow came out, and that put us from 8th to 4th, I think. And we were able to take advantage with that on the restarts and get up to 3rd, and then you know, I just saw a hole and I went for it. You know, the 4 and the 42 were racing really hard and doing all the things they needed to do, and it just opened a hole. And you know, I didn't know if my car would stick or not, but I knew I would regret it if I didn't try it. So I tried it, and it did, and that got us to the lead. And even that was going to be close. And I think the 42 was still quite a bit faster as the long run went, and we got that yellow, and things kind of evened out, and we were able to take advantage from there.
Paul Wolfe, maybe just talk about you know, this race, how it unfolded. Certainly a lot of decisions and strategy and quick calls come into a victory like this, as you know, obviously is a big team win. But just talk about some of the things that you thought were key.
I think the big thing was, you know, Brad staying focused and you know, being patient. Obviously, he showed that early in the race. You know, with having to start 25th, we didn't get a good lap in practice. Unfortunately, with qualifying being rained out, got us behind a little bit. But we were still confident that we had enough speed in our car in practice that you know, if we stayed focused and you know, kept our car clean all day, that you know, we could still have a shot at it. And you know, we had the issue on pit road, got us a little bit behind, but you know, it was good that you know, the issue we had, we came down and fixed it before we went back green. The changer had felt like he didn't get them tight, and so I think that was key, that he stood up and said, you know, I feel like we're going to have a loose wheel here. So to come in and fix that under yellow was much less of a penalty than if we got going green and had a vibration. So that was key there to being able to overcome that loose wheel. From there, you know, we had pretty good speed in our car all day. I think like Brad had mentioned, there was times in the race where I felt like we were the best car, and then times where we were off a little bit. But overall, I knew, you know, if we got our adjustments right at the end, we still had a shot at it. And you know, the way the caution fell there at the end, we were fortunate to get a good break there that gained us a few more spots, like Brad said, and lined up, you know, within range of the leaders. And he did a great job on that restart. I'd seen our strength there all day. Seemed like off of 2 we could really gain on those guys, and when I seen the gap open up, I felt good when I see him going for that would give us our shot.
And Roger, congratulations, Brad, and also Joey had a solid finish as well. Just had to be a good way to start off the chase for you.
Well, as you look at the new format, the first thing we want to do is get a win with one of our cars, so we're automatically in the next round. And obviously, that happened today with Brad and Joey finishing fourth. Gives him some real momentum. But I think it's a credit to Paul and to Todd Gordon that they're working so close together. And I think as we look back at the season, Joey's pushed Brad and vice versa, and that's made a big difference. And I think the relationship that we've developed now with Ford after the second year has really paid off because they're committed to see us get the best. I think the engineering team back at home continues every weekend. I would say that you have a different car because this thing is so close, and you just can't bolt something on. So Paul and the team back at the shop are just doing a hell of a job. And I think today, as Paul said, the real winner today is the young man that changes the rear tire, put his hand up and said, "Hey, I screwed up." And, the wheel might be loose, and Paul had the guts to say, hey, on the radio, he said, look, we're not going to go and run it and find out we're coming in now. So I think those were two of the critical calls, and obviously with Brad being able to go through between, split the 42 and the 4 was the winning move.
Questions now. Dean over here to the left. Dean, Jim, and then Jordan. Dean, Jim, Jordan, and then press box. Go.
Brad, Dean McNulty from the Toronto Sun. Twice today, from the starting back in the 20th, and then the loose wheel. Did you ever lose any confidence at all, or were you certain that the way the team is built, you always had a chance to get to the front?
Well, I knew we were going to need to catch a break, Dean, to get to victory lane from there, and that was going to be tough. And we did catch a small one. But I was really surprised how much speed we had to get as close as we did to the front there. That was amazing. I think we drove up, like I said, to 8th, and we restarted 16th or 17th in position, but probably, I don't know, had to be 30th or something in car order. So to get by that many cars and get close to the front. Was really an incredible run and put us in position to capitalize when that yellow came out. And that was something that all came together. And, from there, I knew once we got to fourth with, I can't remember, was there 30 or 40 to go on those restarts.
40, yeah.
It was going to be about executing the restarts. And we had an okay one the first time where we just really held serve. The outside groove was very, very difficult to get a good restart in with wheel spin. And then we had a great one there, the next, or the last one, I should say. I think there were 3 of them, or I can't remember, there were 2 or 3 of them. The last one, once we had gotten the lead. So we just put it all together, and that was very, very special.
Let's go to Jim, Jordan, and then press box. Jim, Jordan, press box. Go ahead, Jim.
Jim Undershaw, Observer. Brad, earlier in the week in Raleigh, you had talked about your performance at Richmond and how much you thought that meant to you and your team coming into the chase. Now after today, you overcome some adversity during the race. You get a win and lock yourself in to the second round. What does today's victory mean for you in terms of the actual chase?
It means a lot, but, my boss would say don't read your own press clippings. And, I want to enjoy the moment, and I feel conflicted because I know there's still 9 weeks left to go. We have a bit of a hall pass for the next 2, which is great, and I'm very appreciative. But those other 7, nobody cares that we won Chicago. Nobody cares that we won Richmond or the other 3 races. It keeps resetting, and you have to reset yourself, and you have to keep developing the car and pushing as a team, whether that's on pit road or the car handling or spec or whatever it might be, or driver tactics. So I want to be thankful for today, but I know there's a long ways to go. And today was about as much of a statement as you can make on a week 1, and there's 10 weeks to go. So I don't want to understate it, but certainly don't want to overstate it. It's hard. It's a hard balance.
We'll go to Jordan right here, please. Microphone to him. Thank you, Mary. And then we'll go to the press box.
Jordan Bianchi, SBNation.com. Brad, you won here 2 years ago. And it was you said that it was a statement victory because you'd beaten Jimmy Johnson, and he kind of had the strongest car that day. Obviously, the circumstances are a bit different. Is this a statement in any way for you to say that what we did in the regular season, we're carrying that over to the postseason?
Well, I think kind of like I was saying to Jim, it's a statement just for this week, but it really doesn't mean after we get done with Dover and everything resets. I still don't think we were the fastest car. Like I said, it was probably pretty even between the 4 and the 42 and maybe the 24. And it was about the clean air and restarts. But I'm still very thankful for what we were able to do today, and we got to keep pushing.
Let's go to press box for a couple. Go ahead, press box.
Hey, this is Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Brad, in your answer to Utter, you were talking about how the next 2 weeks kind of gives you a hall pass. I'm wondering if you and Paul could explain what that hall pass means to you. I mean, how is this going to change what you do on a week-to-week basis, that knowing that it really doesn't matter what you do at New Hampshire and Dover?
I don't know. I guess that's something we'd have to sit down and discuss as a group. I can't really say I've thought about that in detail. But, I think, there's potential with people. There's potential with pieces that we might be worried about from a reliability standpoint. Things of that nature come to mind. But, I don't know what those opportunities are. And a guy like Paul and Travis Geisler, Michael Nelson, Tim Sundrick, they know that stuff best, and they could probably answer that question better. But, we still have a lot to talk through and work on, and certainly don't want to lose focus of the 7 races after that as well.
Any comment on that, Paul?
No, I think there's a couple things that it does. One, from a race strategy standpoint, obviously we can be a little more aggressive maybe and play a different strategy. There was points in the race today where I knew it was important to just get a solid finish. We felt like coming into this, we don't need to win these first 3 races to advance to the next round. We just need solid runs. So that was our goal. Obviously, we want to win races, and that's what we go out for. But if we can't, then it's salvaging a good finish. So the next 2 weeks, I think, maybe we could look at the strategy a little different and, maybe roll the dice a little more and go for a win. So from that standpoint, I think that's a little different for us now. And, allows us maybe to focus a little bit more on the next round and those tracks. And each round is going to continue to get tougher. And if now not having to, stress so much over the next 2 races, we can put a little more focus on how we can be better at the 3 races in round 2. Maybe that helps us a little bit. So we're going to continue to work hard. We're not going to go on vacation here for the next 2 weeks. We're going to continue to try to make our race cars better and be prepared really well for round 2.
Go ahead, press box. Let's take that next question.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. When the 43 engine failed, and with what happened to the number 22, did you have any indication at all that maybe something might be going on, or were you worried at all that you might have an issue with yours? I know 22 happened right there at the end, but
Yeah, I didn't know until you just told me. So I'm glad I didn't.
No, the 22 had one of the windscreen tear-offs covered the whole front of the car. We got that call out with about 5 laps to go, so he had no. We knew the engine was heating up. And finally, with 1 to go or 2 to go, he said, "Look, I've got no water at all." So we were fortunate that blew up on after we crossed the finish line.
And Roger, can you just kind of describe Brad's perseverance? I mean, for him to come back the way he drove through the field, and he and Paul just never seemed to go up to give up. You told them, be mindful of your strategy today. You wished them luck in the pits, but there's just something about this crew just continue to push on.
Well, I think word that we're using is big picture, and I said that even to Brad, before that last restart. What we didn't want to do is run as well as we had and end up in the fence somewhere. But I think Brad's certainly a thinking man driver, and he has the confidence in Paul and Brian and the whole team. And I think that when he went back, he said, "Look, let's go," because he knew he had a fast car. And I think that in some ways that keeps his mind focused rather than up there fighting with the 4 and the 24 and the 42 coming up through there. Gave him the confidence how good the car was. So when it was time to go, he was, really in position to make a move.
All right, we're coming back downstairs. We're going to take two more questions. Bob Pockris and then Kenny Bruce.
Bob Parker, Scoring News. Paul, will you be able to choose different cars now for the next two races? And then also, when you did have the loose wheel, was there some damage to the car on the right side? It looked like maybe it flared out a little.
From the car standpoint, I guess we could, but the processes and the things we do back at the shop, all our cars are the same. Yeah, I know you hear different teams talk about, they've saved this car for the chase or that car for the chase, but, hats off to the guys back at the shop. The consistency in these race cars and what we bring. I get to question a lot of where'd you run this car or what car you bringing there. To me, that's kind of irrelevant anymore, because I have the confidence in all the guys back at the shop that every car I bring to the racetrack is going to be the same as the one I raced the week before. So I don't know that we'll change our car schedule a whole lot because of this. That's just kind of the way we've done it, and it seems to work for us. No, I haven't seen. There wasn't any damage from the wheel. Maybe something from going down on the apron and stuff. On the restarts here, when you go down on the flat, a lot of times that'll, cause a little bit of damage. That could have been what you're seeing there.
Go over here to the left. Final question, Kenny Bruce.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Brad, on the final restart, Kyle Larson had a tire issue. He said it was from contact between you two when you were cleaning your tires before the restart.
Yeah.
Can you kind of
Yeah,
talk about that a little bit?
we were both swerving to clean our tires, and we made contact. I was already out in the bottom groove, and the debris really builds up about a lane and a half to 2 lanes up when the yellow comes out. And if you're the outside car, you try to stay out of it. And he was, from my perspective, trying to clean his tires and in my groove. And I was warming up my tires, and he came down in my groove right where I was swerving, and we made slight contact. It left a little bit of damage on the right side of my car, and I don't know what happened to his, but he had like 3 lanes outside of him he could have been in. I didn't have any more to go as far as down, and we made contact. It wasn't a huge deal, but certainly was an eye-opener when it happened.
Well, Brad, Roger, and Paul, congratulations on this victory, advancing to the contender round, and we'll see you next week at New Hampshire. Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for your help.